Yehezqel, Ezekiel chapter 20. And it came to be in the 7th year, in the 5th month, on the 10th of the month, that certain of the elders of Israel came to inquire of Yahuah, and sat before me. And the word of Yahuah came to me, saying, Son of man, speak to the elders of Israel, and say to them, Thus said the Adon Yahuah, Have you come to inquire of me? As I live, I am not being inquired of by you, declares the Adon Yahuah. Judge them, son of man, judge them, make known to them the abominations of their fathers. And you shall say to them, Thus said the Adon Yahuah, On the day when I chose Yisrael, and lifted my hand in an oath to the seed of the house of Yaakov, and made myself known to them in the land of Mitzrayim, I lifted my hand in an oath to them, saying, I am Yahuah, your Elohim. On that day I lifted my hand in an oath to them to bring them out of the land of Mitzrayim into a land that I had searched out for them, flowing with milk and honey, the splendor of all lands. And I said to them, Each one of you throw away the abominations which are before his eyes, and do not defile yourselves with the idols of Mitzrayim. I am Yahuah, your Elohim. But they rebelled against me and would not obey me. All of them did not throw away the abominations which were before their eyes, nor did they forsake the idols of Mitzrayim. So I resolved to pour out my wrath on them to complete my displeasure against them in the midst of the land of Mitzrayim. But I acted for my name's sake, that it should not be profaned before the eyes of the Gentiles among whom they were, before whose eyes I had made myself known to them, to bring them out of the land of Mitzrayim. So I took them out of the land of Mitzrayim, and I brought them into the wilderness. And I gave them my laws, and showed them my right rulings, which if a man does, he shall live by them. And I also gave them my Shabbatoth, to be a sign between them and me, to know that I am Yahuah, who makes them kadosh. But the house of Yisrael rebelled against me in the wilderness. They did not walk in my laws, and they rejected my right rulings, which if a man does, he shall live by them. And they greatly profaned my Shabbatoth. Then I said I would pour out my wrath on them in the wilderness to consume them. But I acted for my name's sake, not to profane it before the Gentiles, before whose eyes I had brought them out. And I myself also lifted my hand in an oath to them in the wilderness, not to bring them into the land which I had given them, flowing with milk and honey, the splendor of all lands, because they rejected my right rulings and did not walk in my laws, and they profaned my Shabbatoth, for their heart went after their idols. And my eye pardoned them from destroying them, and I did not make an end of them in the wilderness. And I said to their children in the wilderness, Do not walk in the laws of your fathers, nor observe their rulings, nor defile yourselves with their idols. I am Yahuah, your Elohim. Walk in my laws, and guard my right rulings, and do them. And kadosh my Shabbatoth, and they shall be a sign between me and you, to know that I am Yahuah, your Elohim. But the children rebelled against me. They did not walk in my laws and my right rulings. They did not guard to do them, which if a man does, he shall live by them. They profaned my Shabbatoth, so I resolved to pour out my wrath on them to complete my displeasure against them in the wilderness. But I held back my hand and acted for my name's sake, not to profane it before the eyes of the Gentiles, before whose eyes I had brought them out. Also I myself lifted my hand in an oath to those in the wilderness, to scatter them among the Gentiles and disperse them throughout the lands, because they had not done my right rulings, and they rejected my laws, and they profaned my Shabbatoth, and their eyes were on their fathers' idols. And I also gave them up to the laws that were not good, and right rulings by which they would not live. And I defiled them by their own gifts, as they passed all their firstborn through the fire, so that I might stun them, so that they know that I am Yahuah. Therefore, Son of man, speak to the house of Yisrael, and you shall say to them, Thus said the Adon Yahuah, In this your fathers have further reviled me by committing trespass against me when I brought them into the land for which I had lifted my hand in an oath to give them, and they saw all the high hills and all the thick trees. They offered their slaughterings there and provoked me with their offerings there, and they sent up their sweet fragrance there and poured out their drink offerings there. And I said to them, what is this high place to which you go? So its name is called Bama to this day. Therefore say to the house of Yisrael, thus said the Adon Yahuah, are you defiling yourselves in the way of your fathers? And do you whore after their abominations? For when you lift up your gifts and make your sons pass through the fire, you defile yourselves with all your idols, even to this day. And shall I be inquired of by you, O house of Yisrael? As I live, declares the Adon Yahuah, I am not being inquired of by you. And what comes up in your spirit shall never be when you say, let us be like the Gentiles, like the tribes in other lands, serving wood and stone. As I live, declares the Adon Yahuah, do not I with a mighty hand, with an outstretched arm, and with wrath poured out, reign over you? And I shall bring you out from the peoples and gather you out of the lands where you are scattered with a mighty hand and with an outstretched arm and with wrath poured out. And I shall bring you into the wilderness of the peoples and shall enter into judgment with you face to face there. As I entered into judgment with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Mitzrayim, so I shall enter into judgment with you, declares the Adon Yahuah. And I shall make you pass under the rod, and shall bring you into the bond of the covenant, and purge the rebels from among you, and those who transgress against me. From the land where they sojourn I bring them out, but they shall not come into the land of Yisrael. And you shall know that I am Yahuah. As for you, O house of Yisrael, thus said the Adon Yahuah, go, serve each of you his idols, and afterwards, if you are not listening to me, but do not profane my Kodesh name any more with your gifts and your idols. For my Kodesh mountain on the mountain height of Yisrael, declares the Adon Yahuah, there all the house of Yisrael, all of them in the land, shall serve me. There I shall accept them, and there I shall require your offerings and the firstfruits of your offerings, together with all your Kodesh gifts. As a sweet fragrance I shall accept you when I bring you out from the peoples, and I shall gather you out of the lands where you have been scattered, and I shall be Kadosh in you before the Gentiles. And you shall know that I am Yahuah, when I bring you into the land of Yisrael, into the land for which I lifted my hand in an oath to give to your fathers. And there you shall remember your ways and all your deeds with which you were defiled, and you shall loathe yourselves in your own sight because of all the evils that you did. And you shall know that I am Yahuah, when I have dealt with you for my name's sake, not according to your evil ways, nor according to your corrupt deeds, O house of Yisrael, declares the Adon Yahuah. And the word of Yahuah came to me, saying, Son of man, turn your face toward the south, and preach against the south, and Nevaeh against the forest land, the Negev. And you shall say to the forest of the Negev, Hear the word of Yahuah. Thus said the Adon Yahuah, See, I am kindling a fire in you, and it shall devour every green tree and every dry tree in you. The blazing fire is not quenched, and it shall burn all faces from the south to the north. And all flesh shall see that I, Yahuah, have kindled it. It is not quenched. And I said, Adonai Yahuah, they are saying of me, Is he not speaking parables? Yehezqel, Ezekiel chapter 21. And the word of Yahuah came to me, saying, Son of man, turn your face toward Jerusalem, and preach against the Mikdashim, and Nevaeh against the land of Yisrael. And you shall say to the land of Yisrael, Thus said Yahuah, See, I am against you, and I shall draw my sword out of its sheath, and cut off from you the righteous and the wicked. Because I shall cut off from you the righteous and the wicked, therefore my sword shall go out of its sheath against all flesh from south to north. and all flesh shall know that I, Yahuah, have drawn my sword out of its sheath, not to turn back again. And you, son of man, sigh with a breaking of loins, and sigh with bitterness before their eyes. And it shall be when they say to you, Why are you sighing? That you shall say, Because of the report that is coming, and every heart shall melt, and all hands shall go limp, and every spirit become faint, and all knees be weak as water. See, it is coming, and it shall be, declares the Adon Yahuah. And the word of Yahuah came to me, saying, Son of man, Navah, and you shall say, Thus said Yahuah. Say, a sword is sharpened and also polished. It is sharpened to make a slaughter. It is polished to flash like lightning. Oh, shall we rejoice? My son, you have despised the rod, every stick, and he has given it to be polished, to be taken by the hand. This sword is sharpened and polished to be given into the hand of the slayer. Cry and wail, son of man, for it shall be on my people, on all the leaders of Yisrael. They shall be delivered to the sword together with my people. Therefore strike your thigh, for it is a trier. And what if it even despises the rod? Shall it not be, declares the Adon Yahuah? And you, son of man, Navah, and strike your hands together, and let the sword come down twice, thrice, the sword for the slain. It is the sword of the slain, the great one which surrounds them. I have turned the point of the sword against all their gates, to melt the heart, and that the overthrown be many. Ah, it is made like lightning, keen for slaughter. Sharpen yourself on the right, mark yourself on the left, wherever your edge is appointed. And I, too, I shall strike my hands together and cause my wrath to rest. I, Yahuah, have spoken. And the word of Yahuah came to me again, saying, And you, son of man, appoint for yourself 2 ways for the sword of the sovereign of Babel to go, both of them coming from one land, and place a signpost, put it at the head of the way to the city. Appoint a way for the sword to go to Rabbah of the Ammonites, and to Yehudah into the walled Jerusalem. For the sovereign of Babel shall stand at the parting of the way, at the fork of the 2 ways, to practice divination. He shall shake the arrows, he shall ask the household idols, he shall look at the liver. In his right hand shall be the divination for Jerusalem, to put up battering rams, to call for a slaughter, to lift the voice with shouting, to put battering rams against the gates, to heap up a siege mound, to build a wall. And it shall be to them as a false divination in the eyes of those who have sworn oaths to them. But he is bringing their wickedness to remembrance, so that they are taken. Therefore thus said the Adon Yahuah, because you have made your wickedness to be remembered, in that your transgressions are uncovered, so that your sins are seen in all your deeds. Because you have been remembered, you are taken by hand. And to you, O profane, wicked one, leader of Yisrael, whose day has come in the time of the wickedness of the end, thus said the Adon Yahuah, remove the turban and take off the crown. This shall not remain. Exalt the humble and humble the exalted. Overthrown, overthrown, I make it overthrown. It shall be no longer until he comes to whom it rightly belongs, and I shall give it. And you, son of man, Navah, and say, Thus said the Adon Yahuah concerning the Ammonites and concerning their reproach. And you shall say, a sword drawn for slaughter, polished to the utmost like lightning, while they see false visions for you, while they divine a lie to you, to put you on the necks of the profane ones, the wicked ones whose day has come in the time of the wickedness of the end. Return it to its sheath. In the place where you were created, in the land of your origin, I shall judge you. And I shall pour out my displeasure on you, blow against you with the fire of my wrath, and shall give you into the hands of beastly men skilled to destroy. You are to be fuel for the fire, your blood to be in the midst of the land. You are not to be remembered, for I, Yahuah, have spoken.